Hey guys, tonight we begin with something you might want to think twice about next time you're tempted to visit your local barber. But no, this isn't your usual haircut story. We're diving into the weird, unwelcome world of medieval barbers who also doubled as doctors. So dim the lights, settle in, and get comfy. Because this is going to be a slow, meandering stroll through some genuinely uncomfortable history, perfect for drifting off to sleep. Now, picture this. You need a haircut, or maybe just a little grooming. But instead of just trimming your hair, your barber pulls out knives, saws, and leeches. Yup, because why not double down and try bloodletting while they're at it? Barbers back in the day weren't just cutting hair. They fancied themselves surgeons, dentists, and medicine men all rolled into one. Because obviously, the thing that makes the most sense after a bad haircut is having someone saw open your arm to let the bad blood out. Charming, right? But hey, in an era when medical knowledge barely advanced past a guessing game, these barber-surgeons were basically the best hope you had. That or nature taking its course quietly. The whole setup was charming in its own chaotic way. Barbers wore red and white striped poles, not just for decoration but to symbolize the blood and bandage. A glowing marketing gimmick, or perhaps a warning sign. Those poles meant business. Bloodletting, tooth pulling, minor surgeries, and occasionally amputation. If you thought your hairstylist giving you bold styles was edgy, imagine this guy wielding a saw over your limp arm while humming a tune. Let's float over to the tools of the trade. Scissors and razors. Yes, but also bone saws, cupping glasses, and leeches. Yes, actual leeches crawling on your skin, a method believed to suck out the illness itself. Spoiler alert, it probably just made you weaker and more prone to infection. But who's counting? These techniques were passed down more by tradition than actual science, so every patient was a bit of a guinea pig in this bizarre medieval health experiment. Then there's the buddy of bloodletting, the concept of the four humors. If your body was out of balance, so the theory went, you were sick. The solution? Letting blood out, because why not remove part of yourself when feeling unwell? And of course, barbers were the go-to guys for this delicate task, since they were already wielding sharp blades. Conveniently, some were more eager to amputate a troublesome limb than try anything less drastic. Because, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Speaking of amputations, did you know that some barbers took pride in performing them quickly? Legend has it that the record for an arm amputation was around 2 minutes. Speed was crucial, partly because anesthesia was non-existent, though a swig of strong ale was provided, which probably just made things blurrier in the worst way. No clean tools either, so infection was almost guaranteed. Plenty of patients became barbers' second project. If you catch the drift, and yes, tooth extraction was definitely on the menu. If you had a toothache, chances were good your barber would offer to yank it out instead of considering gentler remedies. The medieval barber-tooth cycler had rudimentary pliers and little concern for your screaming or potential hemorrhage. The phrase pulling teeth was probably coined here, not for dental difficulty but because it was literally the only option, done cold and often twice as painful as necessary. Touché. The treatment wasn't quite horror movie material. It was just the accepted medical norm of the time. Barbers were often more available and cheaper than actual physicians, who were sometimes busy writing incomprehensible Latin texts or philosophizing about how the stars in the sky affected your spleen. Since barbers doubled with doctors, some guilds formed to regulate this chaotic profession, but enforcement was often minimal. Some barbers were decent, some were reckless, and some probably just wanted to clean their saws and get out of the room. Monotony met mayhem, wrapped in a red and white striped pole. So, when you next run your fingers through your neatly trimmed hair or admire a fresh shave, remember that the medieval version of this simple pleasure could easily involve some scalpel slicing or a bloodletting spectacle. And of course it was all done with a straight face, somehow managing to be both terrifying and oddly routine. Let us drift towards exploring the strange lives of the actual surgeons who sometimes competed with barbers, or, more often, were just glad they stayed away from their surgical theaters. But for now, relax and imagine the soft swoosh of the barber's razor, and a tiny hint of dread at what might come next. Again, now that you're comfortably half asleep or at least marginally interested, let us float over to how these barber-surgeons weren't just lone rangers with a shaky knife hand, but actually organized themselves into guilds. That's right, these were not just random folks with razors. They had societies, rules, exams, and even territorial disputes over who got to saw limbs and who got to shave beards. Back in medieval Europe, guilds were the big deal for craftsmen and tradesmen. Barbers and surgeons weren't just slapping the label professional on themselves. They fought tooth and nail, sometimes literally to claim legitimacy. The tricky part. Physicians, the real doctors in long robes looked down on them like barbers, were just glorified haircutters who decided to moonlight as butchers. Here's the twist. Barbers and surgeons originally operated separately, but sawdusted hands forced a merger. Around 1308 in London, a formal guild of barbers was established. Surgeons had their guild too, but the barbers often outnumbered them, allowing barbers to dominate the surgical side of things too. Barbers pulled teeth, bled patients, and yes, performed amputations. In 1540, King Henry VIII decided this tug of war needed a royal decree. So he merged the Company of Barbers and the Guild of Surgeons into the Worshipful Company of Barbers and Surgeons. Picture a medieval corporate merger, except instead of paychecks, it was blood and bone. This guild set the standards for training, apprenticeships, examinations, and fees. Apprentices had to train under a master for years and pass tests as rigorous as you. Expect for people wielding saws and razors on unsuspecting humans. The guild also handled territorial disputes and regulated who was authorized to perform surgery versus just grooming. They even had the power to fine or imprison rogue barbers who stepped out of line, perhaps for an amputation without proper certification or for taking on more patients than they could handle without a license. Basically, it was medieval quality control, judging competence by how many limbs were left attached after treatment. Interestingly, these guilds were widespread, not only in London but also across England, Scotland, and Ireland, managing membership and standards in the absence of modern medical schools. Their monopoly on bloodletting and minor surgeries made them indispensable, despite their scary reputations. Monks, who couldn't shed blood due to religious rules, essentially outsourced bleeding to these barber surgeons, making the guilds even more essential in society. Over time, as medical knowledge advanced, the surgeons within the guild pushed to separate their image from haircutting barbers, yearning for the prestige of academic physicians. This tension persisted until 1745, when surgeons finally split from the barbers to form professional surgical colleges, paving the way for modern surgery. So, the next time you see a barber pole, remember its red and white stripes symbolize blood and bandegeza badge of honor from a time when haircuts came with a side of bloodletting and maybe a quick limb saw. The guilds kept these chaotic trades strangely organized, blending hairdressing with the darkest edges of medieval medicine. Sweet dreams. Hey, so, now that you nicely drowsy and somewhat convinced you, rather avoid barbers with sharp instruments let drift gently into the world of medieval royalty and the elitha, very people who often ended up on these barbers' tables. Because, of course, even kings and queens weren't safe from terrifyingly bad medical care. In fact, their status often meant more elaborate and thus potentially were. Medieval barbers weren't just the neighborhood haircutters. They were regularly called into castles and royal courts across Europe to tend to nobles and monarchs. The stakes were higher here, but the skills not necessarily. These barbers doubled as surgeons and wielding their sharp tools on toothaches, wounds, and even performing surgeries for kings and princes who had war injuries, chronic illnesses, or simple ailments like overgrown Take, for example, Henry IV of England. When his son was shot in the face with an arrow, it wasn't a team of highly trained doctors applying Renaissance medicine who saved the prince. It was a skilled barber-surgeon named John Bradmore. Bradmore famously invented a special instrument to safely remove the arrowhead, mixing some honey and wine to clean wounds, which was surprisingly ahead of his time. And yes, the prince survived, eventually becoming Henry V. This shows that while many barbers were terrifyingly some did acquire practical know-how and even contributed to medical progress. Royal barber surgeons often took pride in their relationship with their noble patients, understanding the delicate balance between keeping the king alive and keeping his limbs intact. These professionals would perform everything from bloodletting to trepanation, drilling into the skull to relieve pressure, a very popular and slow way to send someone off to dreamland. These treatments were often done without anesthesia except perhaps a gulp of strong drink. To dull the pain, and sterilization was basically a fantasy. So infections ran rampant. Teeth were another royal trouble spot. Toothaches were frequently dealt with by painful extractions, often with crude tools wielded by barbers who were part dentist, part torturer. Royal courts expected quick fixes, and that usually meant yank the tooth out. No questions asked, because why bother with prolonged suffering when you can just have it gone instantly? Barber-surgeons also worked closely with armies, tending to battle wounds, amputations, and infections. Their experience ranged from the battlefield chaos to palace intrigue, where a reluctance to prolong suffering often decided treatment quality. It was a risky job with a high turnover rate among patients, but royal patronage sometimes protected and elevated the best of these practitioners. Interestingly, these professionals' personal lives were sometimes just as quirky as their medical practices. Barbers serving in royal courts enjoyed certain privileges, but were still caught between tradesmen and elite doctors. Some were known for eccentric habits, outspoken personalities, or secretive guild rituals, all blending into the strange tapestry of court life, where power, medicine, and superstition often tangled. And so, the royal treatment meant a mix of privilege and peril, better access to the best, but no escape from the common medieval reality of sharp blades, bleeding, and unpredictable outcomes. The line between care and cruelty was thin, and more than a few royals counted on luck as much as skill. Let us mellow into the next topic slowly. Perhaps the odd personal habits of barbers and surgeons themselves, or the royal families they served, both teetering between dark tragedy and ironic comedy. Hey, as you float deeper into semi-consciousness, let's take a slow, gentle look at the personal lives and odd habits of those medieval barbers, the very same folks who wielded your sword and your razor. Turns out, their life was a weird blend of practical medicine, humble barbering, and surprisingly quirky everyday routines. Barber-surgeons were the ultimate multitaskers. One minute they were trimming beards or shaving heads, including monks, because the church really liked those clean circles on top. The next minute, they might be pulling rotten teeth or patching up nasty battle wounds. Imagine starting your day with a jaunty haircut and finishing it by sawing off a gangrenous limb. Talk about job variety. Despite the gruesome surgeries, they often had a very earthy, down-to-earth vibe. They were in touch with their community, treating everyone from common folk to minor nobles. They were known to be practical, and even sometimes humorous about their work, because if you don't laugh while wielding a saw, when wield you? Their reputations ranged from lifesaver to glorified butcher, and this duality followed them everywhere. Their shops were more than just barber chairs. You'd find sundry medical paraphernalia, basins for bloodletting, rows of razors, tooth extraction tools, and jars of herbs and ointments. Some of their treatments included making poultices, applying leeches, and administering enemas to cleanse the body, a common but unappealing practice that they didn't shy away from. Hygiene was, shall we say, highly questionable by modern standards. Personal quirks, well, some barbers were known to be a bit eccentric, boisterous, occasionally boastful, and prone to colorful storytelling about the last limb they sawed off or tooth they pulled. Others kept detailed trade secrets about special ointments or bleeding techniques, guarded like family heirlooms. Interestingly, many barber surgeons learned on the job, often through apprenticeships with masters who combined both barbering and basic surgical skills. Formal university training was rare for them, so experience mattered more than diplomas. Their social status was somewhere between manual laborers and respected tradesmen, a liminal space that often made for an intriguing personal identity. Proud craftsmen with a hint of the macabre. Life outside the shop could be fairly ordinary family meals, maybe a pint at the local tavern boot, often shadowed by the knowledge that each day might bring either beautifying coiffures or bloody operations. Some even doubled as battlefield medics, rushing from surgery tables to battlefields, covered in more than just beard trimmings. So there you have it, a day in the life, steeped in both the mundane and the morbid, with a generous dash of medieval weirdness. Not exactly glamorous, but hey, it was their life. Let's mellow out further in the next part, maybe with some runnable anecdotes about how these barber-surgeons danced on the edge of respectability and infamy, especially with their high-profile noble clients who were just as weird in their own ways. Alright, let's settle in to discuss the curious social standing of our beloved medieval barbers. They weren't exactly the toast of the town, nor were they the lowest rung on the ladder. Think of them as the middle children of medieval society, kind of necessary, sometimes appreciated, often misunderstood, and occasionally downright avoided. Barber-surgeons occupied an odd position because, well, they worked with blood ND. In medieval times, anyone dealing with blood was tainted socially. This included barbers, butchers, and executioners. They were necessary, but their professions came with a whiff of unclean or lowly attached for centuries. But full barber-surgeons were vastly more skilled and practical than many of the university-trained physicians, who preferred to diagnose from dusty tomes and heavenly alignments rather than getting their hands dirty. Their status was paradoxical. While the academic doctors studied the classics and fancied themselves elite intellectuals above the messy realities of surgery, barber-surgeons gained a reputation for effectiveness because their work was visible and results tangible. You could see if a limb was saved or a wound was stitched properly. Michel de Montaigne famously preferred surgery over medicine because it was less guessing and more doing. Guilds gave barber-surgeons a formal professional identity and helped raise their reputation, starting from local towns to royal favor. Kings like Edward IV and Richard III were members of the Company of Barbers, and Henry VIII merged surgeons and barbers into one royal guild to regulate training and standards. These royal associations lent respectability to the trade. Being the king's barber-surgeon wasn't a shabby gig. Still, they were stuck somewhere between tradesmen and the learned medical elite, often excluded from academic honors and barred from teaching in universities. Surgeons wore short robes compared to the long gowns of physicians, signifying the social and educational gap. The barber-surgeon's mix of practical skill and manual labor meant modest respect, but few social privileges. The common people tended to trust barber-surgeons more than distant university doctors because barbers were accessible and performed procedures that actually helped, such as draining abscesses, setting broken bones, and, yes, ruthless. They served soldiers, workers, and even clergy who couldn't shed blood themselves. They were often empathetic confidants, hearing out patients' woes while wielding razor and saw. Yet, despite their importance, barber-surgeons were often viewed as glorified tradesmen, not quite doctors, sometimes feared for their crude methods, but vital in an age of limited medical knowledge. Their social status slowly improved from the Middle Ages through the Renaissance, and their legacy paved the way for modern surgery by blending craftsmanship with early medical practice. So, barber-surgeons were a weird hybrid, part healer, part craftsman, part butcher, and all essential. Their reputation was a mix of respect earned from skill, suspicion from their bloody trade, and royal patronage that brought them occasional prestige, a roller coaster social ride for anyone who chose to wield a saw and scissors simultaneously. If you want to keep floating along, Part 6 can explore more about the transition from barber-surgeon chaos to the more refined world of modern surgical practices, or perhaps some deeper dives into individual barber-surgeons who made history despite, or maybe because of, their strange profession. Hey guys, tonight we begin with a slow stroll through the unusual and often quirky world of royal pets. Forget your everyday cats and dogs. Royal courts across history love their exotic, odd, and sometimes downright bizarre companions. So dim your lights, settle into your comfy spot, and prepare to drift off while we explore the weird status symbols these elites adored. Royal pets weren't merely for cuddles or company. They were political tools, symbols of power, or emotional crutches for royals, often caught in dynastic chaos. Take King Henry I of England. For example, his cat was reportedly treated with as much ceremony as a nobleman, buried with full honors despite living in a turbulent court surrounded by plotting humans, because why not revere a calm feline advisor amidst political mess? Then there was Sultan Hasanuddin of the Bugis kingdom, who had a pet goat pampered with royal food and velvet padding far better treatment than many humans around him. The royal goat basically reigned supreme among barnyard animals, lounging in luxury while courtiers steamed quietly over the spoiled creature's cushy life. Moving to Europe, cheetahs were the ultimate elite status pets during the Renaissance. These sleek hunters weren't just chippies, they accompanied nobles on hunts, helping chase down prey. Feeding and keeping a cheetah was no small matter. Dangerous and costly bat-owning one screamed prestige louder than a dozen falcons. Swans also held regal sway in England, owned by the crown. These birds symbolized purity and power, protected by strict laws, making it a royal offense to harm one. The crown claimed ownership over swans and waters, turning them into floating emblems of royal authority and aristocratic privilege. And of course the monkeys showed up at court, especially in Mughal India, trained to perform tricks and sometimes even walk alongside emperors. These mischievous primates brought laughter and chaos in equal measure, often stealing the spotlight from serious court proceedings by grabbing turbans or tossing food. Ancient Egyptians took pet adoration to divine heights, embalming cats and even carrying them into battle, thanks to their sacred links to the goddess. A cat in Egypt wasn't just a pet, could be a protector, a god, and a royal companion, all rolled into one. Royal pets were woven into the fabric of court life, reflecting cultural values, political power, and personal eccentricities. Their pampered lives often far outshone those of the humans around them. So, as you sink slowly toward sleep, remember these royal companions, each one a peculiar star in their own slow-moving historical saga. Hey everyone! Now that you're settled in with the royal menagerie from last time, let us meander a little deeper into some of the most gloriously odd and amusing pets history elites couldn't live without. In fact, many of these creatures were almost more influential at court than some of the courtiers themselves. So dim your lights a little more, unfold your blanket a tad, and let's dive into this delightful and slightly strange realm. We'll start with Empress Josephine de Beauharnais, Napoleon's first wife, who had a pet orangutan named Rose. Yes, you heard that right. Rose wasn't your average orangutan lurking in the jungle. She was brought to the palace, dressed in fine clothes, and even shared meals with the Empress. Imagine the dinner conversation: Napoleon trying to have a serious talk while Rose is possibly eyeing the dessert. Exotic pets like Rose were as much about status and whimsy as they were about companionship. And of course, the extravagance was perfect for the romantic but turbulent atmosphere of the Napoleonic court. How about King Henry II of England's polar bear? Now, keeping a polar bear in medieval England sounds ridiculous, but this beast was kept chained near the Tower of London and allowed to swim in the Thames. It must have been a sight, a giant white bear splashing around the murky London River, surrounded by gawking spectators. The bear was both a symbol of royal power and a show of daring excess. Surely not your typical petting zoo attraction. On the monkey front, Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's first wife, flaunted a capuchin monkey, a primate often portrayed in her official portraits. Monkeys were the ultimate status symbol, showing off the royal family's worldly connections and eccentric tastes. Some monkeys were trained, some were pranksters, but all of them added a little chaos and charm to the otherwise stiff court life. King Charles X of France received a Nubian giraffe as a diplomatic gift. This giraffe was nothing short of a sensation. Imagine parading a long-necked animal through the 19th century Paris streets, turning everyone's heads, especially the fashionistas, who promptly started giraffe-patterned outfits. It was a walking emblem of exotic diplomacy and royal whimsy, proving that even a towering giraffe can be a political player. From France to England, young Queen Elizabeth II once had a chameleon as a pet, gifted during World War II. This wasn't your usual royal lapdog. The chameleon was kept in a specially made box and followed around the palace, snapping up flies with its long tongue, much to the mixed delight of the princesses and their concerned nanny. Not cuddly, but definitely memorable. King George III got a cheetah named Miss Jenny from colonial officials as an exotic pet. Miss Jenny lived 4 years in the Tower of London's menagerie, embodying both the imperial reach of Britain and the sometimes odd tastes of royalty. Queen Victoria passed down the tradition of royal exotic pets to famously loving Tibetan mountain goats prized for their luxurious cashmere, alongside her many beloved dogs and a friendly parrot who could sing and talk, a reminder that royal pets could be practical as well as peculiar. One particularly legendary gift was King Manuel I of Portugal's rhinoceros, a female Indian rhino named Gonda. Sent as a diplomatic present, she fascinated the Portuguese and was later gifted to Pope Leo X, becoming a huge sensation. Imagine encountering such a giant beast in a European court, where animals like cats and dogs were still the norm. Finally, King Henry I of England had an extensive menagerie at Woodstock Palace, including everything from lions and camels to a porcupine, because who didn't want a spiky little companion? His menagerie was so vast it required miles of stone walls, a sort of medieval zoo that showcased royal wealth and power through the sheer strangeness of the collection. These royal pets weren't just oddities, they were symbols of power, tokens of diplomacy, and sometimes unintended sources of chaos. Picture the court staff juggling state affairs, while the Empress's orangutan steals the scones, or the king, his polar bear, causes a splash in the river. It's a slow, sleepy reminder that behind the pomp and ceremony, royal life was often delightfully unpredictable. So, as you relax further tonight, let your mind wander to these weird and wonderful companions of the rich and powerful, each one a sleepy story in its own right.
Hello history buffs and animal lovers. Ever wondered why kings and queens are so often pictured with their furry, feathered, or even scaly friends? It's not just because they're cute. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of royal pets and uncovering how these animals were much more than mere companions. They were powerful symbols of status, diplomacy, and sometimes just plain eccentricity. Let's start with the most obvious symbol: power. Think of lions, tigers, and better. For centuries, rulers have kept exotic and dangerous animals to showcase their might. The ancient Romans paraded elephants captured in war through the streets of Rome, a clear message of their military dominance. Fast forward to medieval England, where the Tower of London housed a royal menagerie. Imagine being a foreign visitor and seeing a polar bear, a gift from the King of Norway, fishing in the Thames, or the 3 leopards, a present from the Holy Roman Emperor, which later became the inspiration for the Royal Arms of England. These weren't just pets. They were living, breathing trophies that screamed, "We are powerful, and we can tame the wild." But it wasn't all about raw power. Pets were also crucial tools of diplomacy. Giving an animal as a gift was a gesture of immense respect and a way to forge alliances. One of the most famous examples is the panda diplomacy of China. In 1972, after President Nixon's historic visit, China gifted the giant panda Ling Ling and Xing Xing to the United States. This wasn't just a friendly exchange. It was a soft power move that captured the hearts of the American public and symbolized a new era of cooperation between the two nations. Similarly, giraffes were sent from Africa to European courts in the Middle Ages, causing a sensation wherever they went and strengthening political ties. A living, walking, neck-stretching ambassador. You can't get much more memorable than that. Now, let's talk prestige. Owning a specific breed of dog could say a lot about your place in society. Take the Corgi. Queen Elizabeth II turned this humble Welsh cattle dog into a global icon of the British monarchy. Her devotion to her corgis was legendary, and they became inseparable from her public image. To own a corgi was to have a little piece of that royal glamour. The same can be said for King Charles II and his beloved Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. He was so attached to them that he issued a decree allowing them in any public place, including the Houses of Parliament. These dogs weren't just companions. They were living fashion accessories that solidified the monarch's brand. And then there's the peculiar side of royal pet ownership. History is filled with monarchs whose choice of animal companions raised more than a few eyebrows. The Roman Emperor Caligula, for instance, was said to have loved his horse so much that he planned to appoint him as a consul. While this is likely an exaggeration by his political enemies, it shows how a ruler's relationship with an animal could be used to paint them as unhinged. Or consider the French Queen Marie Antoinette and her love for tiny lapdogs, like the Papillon, which she allegedly carried with her to the guillotine. These stories, whether entirely true or not, add a layer of human, and sometimes bizarre, detail to these larger-than-life figures. From the lions in the Tower of London to the corgis in Buckingham Palace, royal pets have played a surprisingly significant role in history. They've been symbols of untamed power, delicate instruments of diplomacy, markers of elite status, and reflections of their owners' unique personalities. They show us that throughout time, the bond between humans and animals has been a powerful force, capable of shaping politics, culture, and even the course of empires. These creatures were witnesses to history, sitting at the feet of power, and in their own silent way, they became a part of the royal story. What's the most unusual royal pet you've ever heard of? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more fascinating stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Breathe in slowly. Let the velvet hush of night settle over you like a cashmere throw. We're tucked beneath the covers, the world outside dimmed to a whisper, and history's grandest pets are curling up beside us, warm, weightless, ready to carry us on a dream-soft journey through palaces of silk and stone. No rush, no clamor, just the gentle rustle of centuries, the faint scent of rosewater and hay, and the quiet heartbeat of creatures who once padded across marble floors to announce, "This is power, wrapped in fur and feather." Let's linger first with the asterisk, lapdogs, asterisk, those pocket-sized emblems of tenderness and tyranny. Imagine Empress Sixie in the Forbidden City, the late afternoon sun gilding her dragon-embroidered robes, a tiny Pekingese nose flattened like a pressed peony nettles in the crook of her sleeve, its silk ribbon the exact shade of imperial yellow. Each breath the dog takes is a soft political statement. Asterisk, I can afford to pamper something this fragile. Asterisk, centuries earlier, Queen Elizabeth I strolls the gardens at Greenwich, a trio of pom-poms on legs yipping at her farthingale. One sneezes. Courtiers stifle giggles. The Queen's smile never waver-shea, knows the joke is on them. A farting, snoring lapdog is still a crown jewel when it proves you have time for nonsense. Now let the scene dissolve into something grander, slower. Dawn mist clings to the Alhambra Est fountains as a lion asterisk stretches in a courtyard of azure tiles. The Caliph of Cordoba imported him from the Atlas Mountains, a walking sunrise with a mane like molten gold. Servants scatter rose petals so his paws land on fragrance instead of stone. When foreign ambassadors arrive, the lion yawns, revealing teeth that could unmake treaties, and the message is clear. Asterisk, my garden is a jungle. My mercy. Optional. Asterisk, in England, Richard the Lionheart kept no actual lions too costly to ship, but his banner roared for him. The beast became a bedtime story told to Arma. Asterisk, sleep tight. Little Night, the king's cat is bigger than your nightmares. Asterisk, drift northward, where the air smells of pine and parchment. A asterisk unicorn, dash reel, embroidered, rests its spiral horn on a Scottish princess's knee. The creature is almost certainly a narwhal tusk stitched to a white pony, but belief is a potent narcotic. Courtiers swear the horn sweats in the presence of poison. The princess merely strokes its velvet muzzle and watches rivals blanch. Across the channel, Holy Roman emperors favored the double-headed eagle asterisk. One head watches the east, one the west asterisk. I see everything, I forgive nothing. Asterisk, the bird never blinks, never tires, never needs feeding. Perfect for insomnia and intimidation. Let's sail now on perfumed breezes to the asterisk gift animals. Asterisk, those diplomatic love letters with hooves and horns. Picture the docks of Marseille, 1827. A asterisk, giraffe. Asterisk, steps off a ship from Egypt, neck swaying like a slow metronome. She is a present for King Charles X, and Paris loses its mind. Children balance on fountains to glimpse her spots. Modistes copy the pattern onto shawls. Named Zarafa, chumming in Arabic si munches occasia in the Jardin des Plantes, while scholars argue whether she's a camel leopard or a new species of grace. 18 months she walked from the coast to the capital, escorted by 3 cows for milk and a Sudanese groom who sang her to sleep under provencal stars. Every mile was a postcard. France is modern enough to keep Africa in its parlor. Softer now. Softer the pace of a sleeping goat. Queen Victoria adored her Highland cattle, and cashmere goats, but it was the humble Anglo-Nubian, that stole her heart. Ears like silk scarves, eyes the color of weak tea. She kept a herd at Windsor, their milk bottled in porcelain labeled with the royal cipher, profit disguised as pastime. The Queen sold the surplus to London dairies, proving even sentiment could turn a tidy sum. At Balmoral, she sketched them in watercolored horns, curled like question marks, while Prince Albert read aloud from livestock journals. The goats never knew they were balance sheets wearing fur coats. Let the candle gutter, shadows lengthen. We're in the realm of inbred dynasties, where beauty curtsies to biology. Habsburg spaniels, with jaws too delicate to chew, Bourbon horses whose pasterns fold like wet paper, each flaw a love letter to cousin marriages. A pug in Versailles wheezes through a nose shorter than a thimble. Marie Antoinette coes mon petit soufflet and orders a diamond collar to hide the labored breathing. The dog's portrait hangs beside hers, both faces flattened by lineage, both adored for the very defects that will doom them. Feathers, now lighter than thought, swans glide across the Thames, white as fresh statutes. By ancient law, every unmarked mute swan in open water belongs to the crown. Poach one, and you poach majesty. The penalty once meant losing a hand. Elizabeth II kept black swans from Australian blots on silver water, proof that even purity could be imported. At night, their wings sound like distant applause as they settle on the lake at Buckingham Palace, dreaming of Antipodean suns. A final, hush, a chameleon purchased on young Princess Elizabeth's windowsill in 1530s England, shifting from emerald to gold as courtiers debate her father's divorce. The lizard is a gift from a Spanish envoy, subtext, shimmering. We adapt. Do you? Catherine of Aragon once kept a capuchin monkey in a velvet doublet. It stole sugared almonds from ambassadors' plates and screeched when France was mentioned. Laughter in court was rare. The monkey supplied it, and Catherine's smile stayed serene. Let him think me frivolous. The joke is survival. Close your eyes. The palace corridors fade to the hush of your own breath. Somewhere, a lapdog sighs in its sleep, a lion's tail flicks against marble, a giraffe lowers her impossible neck to drink from a moonlit pool. They were never just pets. They were mirrors, furry, feathered, clawed, reflecting the absurd, exquisite weight of being watched by history. Drift now, the covers are warm, the night endless. Tomorrow the crowns will gleam again, but tonight the only scepter is a dreaming cat's tail curled across your wrist. Sleep, royal for an hour, adored by creatures who never needed thrones to rule the dark. Let the night widen like a silk fan, slow and scented with jasmine from distant courts. We're no longer bound by European tapestries. The world unfurls beneath us, a quilt of continents stitched with paw prints and quiet heartbeats, breathing the hush of tatami, the incense of desert winds, the low murmur of Nile reeds. Eberi Palace, every tent, every pyramid held its sacred creature, some to guard the soul, some to mock the stars, all to whisper. Even emperors need something soft to hold. Begin in Kyoto ***, where dawn light slips through shoshi screens like warm milk. A ***, Japanese chin, ***, no larger than a teacup, perches on a lacquered stool. Its black and white coat, brushed until it gleams like lacquer itself. The dogs, ***, Hananokimi ***, flower princes embroidered on a tiny kimono, tied with gold cord. An attendant kneels offering a porcelain dish of steamed sea bream flaked finer than snow. The chin sniffs, deems it acceptable, and the corpse exhales. Outside, samurai Polish swords. Inside, this dog decides the mood of the empire. Legend claims the first chins were gifts from Korean kings, bred smaller each generation until they fit in a sleeve like a living brooch. When the emperor laughs at the dog's sneeze, wars are postponed. When the dog refuses to eat, astrologers are summoned. Power, distilled into a creature that weighs less than a haiku, drifts south on a cloud of sandalwood. The asterisk. Asterisk Forbidden City. Asterisk. Yawns open. Red walls, glowing like embers. Asterisk. Asterisk Pekingese. Asterisk waddles. Down the dragon pavilion. Belly, swaying, tail. A proud comma. Eunuchs bow so low their foreheads brush the dog's jeweled collar. Steal this dog, and lose your head. The penalty is written in vermilion ink. The dog's face is a pushed-in moon. Its eyes, drops of ink and cream. Empress Dowager Cixi keeps 3 on her Kong at night. There snores a lullaby against assassination plots. One, named Hailan Sea Orchid. Once bit a Russian envoy's boot. The envoy apologized. Across the palace lake. She use ***. Patrolled the hall of mental cultivation. Their lion-like ruffs a reminder. We are small, but we carry the roar of Buddhas. Grooms trim their topknots into perfect clouds. Children are forbidden to touch, lest they disturb the feng shui of majesty. Now the scene dissolves into Versailles at twilight, chandeliers flickering like captive stars. Louis XV. Reclines on a chaise white Persian cat, sprawled across his brocade waistcoat. The cat Blanchette wears a ribbon the color of the king's eyes. Courtiers approach, on tiptoe. One fool reaches to stroke her, and Louis's voice cuts like a rapier. She is sleeping. You are not. Blanchette opens one sapphire, decides the courtier is beneath notice, and resumes Paringa sound like velvet being torn in paradise. In England, Cardinal Wolsey's cat, attends council meetings, batting at quills. While treaties are signed, Queen Elizabeth I's tabby, sorrow, sleeps on the Privy Council table, leaving paw prints in fresh wax seals. At Whitehall banquets, a Siamese streaks across the table, tail dusted with rouge from a lady's cheek. Servants sigh. Again. The cat vanishes into tapestries, emerging later with a ruff of stolen pearls. Chaos is the price of divine nonsense. The air grows warmer, heavy with papyrus and lotus. Ancient Egypt. Exhales along the Nile, moon silver on limestone. A pharaoh's ***, Bastid incarnate. Curls. Inside a golden shrine, color of lapis and electrum. When the cat dies, the kingdom mourns. Barbers shave their eyebrows, breweries close. Processions wind to Bubastis, where the cat is mummified with mouse-shaped amulets. X-ray the wrappings. Today, and you'll find the cat as heart, replaced with a scarab *. So the soul may fly to the field of reeds with a friend. In Ottoman palaces centuries later, a Van Cat Quan, blue eye, 1 amber pads, across Iznik tiles. The Sultan believes her gaze wards off the evil eye. Concubines bribe her with cream to sit near their She chooses the quietest girl, the one who will outlive them all. Let the desert wind carry us. Persian salukis flow like liquid. Gold across Isfahan's carpets. A prince hunts gazelle, At dawn, the hound returns with the quarry's heart in her mouth, lays it at his feet, then licks his hand clean. She sleeps inside the tent, head on the sheik's prayer rug. When the sheik dies, the saluki is mummified beside him, legs tucked as if still running. In Mecca, a saluki once entered the Kaaba during prayer. Scholars debated 4 days whether the dog was blessed or the sanctuary defiled. The dog, unconcerned, curled up beneath the black stone and dreamed of hares. Finally, cross an ocean of stars to Tenochtitlan, where turquoise water mirrors the sky. An Aztec noble cradles a Taquichi the Chihuahua esa ancestor no, bigger than a squash blossom. The dog's coat is the color of cacao. Its eyes, obsidian beads. At night, the noble whispers confessions to the dog, believing it carries messages to make. When the noble dies, the Taquichi is sacrificed gently, with marigold petals, its tiny body placed across the chest so the soul has a guide through the underworld S9 rivers. Spanish chroniclers wrote of finding dog mummies in royal tombs, ribs painted red with cinnabar, collars of jade. The dogs did not flinch. They had been bred for eternity. Let the images blur now, continents folding like a fan. A Chin sneezes in Kyoto silk. A Pekingese snores in Beijing gold. A Persian purrs in Parisian candlelight. A Saluki dreams of dunes. A Taquichi's heart beats beneath Aztec stars. They are all here in the hush between your breath's guardians of loneliness. Mirrors of grandeur, proof that even the mightiest hands crave something warm to hold when the crowns are set aside. The night deepens. Somewhere, a cat's tail flicks across a moonlit windowsill. Somewhere, a small dog sighs in scented straw. They ask nothing of us but the space to dream. Close your eyes. The palaces are quiet now. The thrones empty. Only the animals remain. Eternal, weightless, curling into the curve of your arm like punctuation. At the end of history, its longest sentence. Asterisk, and they were loved. Asterisk. Let the candle flames loosen themselves into molten halos. Let the corridors of vanished empires collapse softly into shadow. Tonight, Europe's palaces aren't thrones of power, but sanctuaries of fur and feathers warm, breathing relics curled beside the greatest figures ever to sign decrees or spark revolutions. Close your eyes and listen. The hush is thick, perfumed with beeswax, rose water, and that unmistakable musk of pampered creatures who have slept on cushions more expensive than most kingdoms. Somewhere a clock ticks, deliberate, sleepy, like a monarch's reluctant heartbeat. Somewhere a tiny dog sighs, rustling satin like a whisper of old gossip. We begin in Paris, 1570s. When the Louvre still smelled of damp stone and ambition, the fog hangs low, glowing pale gold as torchlight spills from its windows. And there, drifting through a mask, like a ghost stitched from silk, is Henry III, elegant, restless, bizarre in the most fashionable way. Around his neck, I assentee a chain of rubies or state jewels, but a woven basket tied with brocaded ribbons. Inside, 3 bichons, as white and round as sugared confections. Me, Poof, Tresor. Courtiers murmur their names with trembling lips, trying not to choke on the absurdity. Henry lifts the tiny basket with both hands, as delicately as if it contained communion bread. The little dogs lick his chin, tongues pink as candied almonds, their breath tinged with lavender from the sachets knotted into their ribbons. Ambassadors from Spain avert their eyes, wondering whether diplomatic protocol requires them to bow to the king, the dogs, or both. When Henry dances, the basket swings from a silk cord at his hip. The dogs bounce like living incense burners, releasing perfumed clouds whenever they sneeze or shuffle. During one pavan, Mimi lets out a tiny achoo, and half the orchestra collapses in confusion. Henry, he just beams. My cavalry has arrived, he declares, as if his kingdom rests entirely on 3 fluffy soldiers. Hop across the channel to Whitehall, 1660s, where everything smells faintly of sea salt and scandal. Charles II, all swagger and mischief, lounges on a velvet settee like a man allergic to sitting upright. His legs stretch out. His boots lie abandoned like fallen soldiers. Draped across him is a cascade of King Charles spaniels, a waterfall of long ears and glossy coats, their bodies layered on his lap until he looks less like a monarch and more like a canine throne. One bitch, destined for legends before, Anna's Eva Queen gives birth under the council table while the Privy Council debates ships, debts, and Dutch threats. Ministers freeze mid-sentence. A newborn puppy rolls onto an embroidered Persian carpet. A chancellor steps into something squishy and keeps speaking as if naval finances and puppied after birth are equally inevitable parts of public life. Charles waves a lazy hand. Let them stay. The realm smells sweeter for it. And honestly, means Italiano. The Spaniels follow him everywhere. Into parliament, into bedchambers, into moments of deep state crisis. Decrees are carved in stone. Where the king walks, the dogs may walk. Where the king sits, the dogs may nap. Samuel Pepys writes later of navigating a perfect flood of puppies and watching the king laugh so violently he spills claret on a spaniel's ear. The spaniel licks away the wine, tail wagging like a royal seal of approval. In Charles's court, dignity isn't required, only devotion. Shift the scene to Windsor, 1890s, where gas lamps sigh against mahogany and grief thickens the air. Like London fog, Queen Victoria, wrapped in black as if mourning is her second skin, sits at a tiny writing desk. Her hand trembles over morning stationery. Edges gilded in gold she barely sees anymore. At her knee rests Waldman, her faithful dachshund, head heavy on her lap, eyes deep with the kind of sympathy only animals ever truly master. Tonight she writes an epitaph for Sharp, her beloved collie, who died chasing swans with more enthusiasm than sense. The pet cemetery at Frogmore is already crowded. Noble, Buzzy, Laddie, each a memorial carved in Victoria's own steady hand. He was my faithful friend for 14 years. Servants tiptoe past, holding silver brushes still warm with the dog's fur. In photographs, Victoria's lap is always occupied a terrier's beard, a dachshund's hot water bottled body, a collie's a solemn head. When she rides in her pony cart, her dogs trot alongside like a royal escort. Protocol's hush dogs refused hold, now drift back in time to Hampton Court, early 1500s, where tapestries flutter like trapped sighs, and the air is thick with Tudor incense. Catherine of Aragon sits for a portrait, her fingers resting lightly on the back of a capuchin monkey. Dressed in its own tiny doublet and hose, the monkey, Poco, holds a grape with tiny, courtly dignity, eyes bright, calculating, judging Holbein's sketching speed. At one point Poco steals his quill, chews the feather, and Chitta laughs as Catherine lets out a rare, crystalline laugh. Later, when Henry VIII casts Catherine aside, Poco is smuggled out in a laundry basket, hidden among ruffs, petticoats, and the last shreds of Catherine's fragile joy. Years later at Kimbleton, the monkey dies in her arms, and she buries him beneath a rosemary bush, whispering Latin prayers no priest would dare assign to a creature without a soul. Catherine never cared. Love is its own liturgy. Step into Versailles, 1770s, where mirrors fracture candlelight into 1,000 glittering lies. Marie Antoinette, soft as a rococo dream, reclines in the Petit Trianon beside Mops, her snoring pug, smuggled from Vienna in a hatbox. He arrived not as contraband lace, but as contraband comfort, a heart disguised as a pet. Now he wears a sapphire collar, drinks from Sevres porcelain, and grunts like royalty. Parrots Coco and Lulu mimic the Queen's laughter and greet visitors with a perfect viva la reina. The palace buzzes with gossip, but Mops, he simply snores, a tiny anchor in a storm of approaching revolution. When revolution finally claws at the gates, the parrots are released into the gardens. Mops is smuggled away in a lady's muff. Marie's last whispered plea on the way to the scaffold. Tell Mops, I am sorry. History remembers rebellions. Dogs remember love. Glide now to Brighton Pavilion, 1820s, where the walls pulse with Orientalist fantasy and excess drips from every tassel. George IV, buoyant with vanity and cherry gin, lounges in his gilded barge, a cockatoo named Perroquet perched on his shoulder like a gaudy epaulet. The bird wears a leather crown, shrieks "God save the King," and steals maraschino cherries like a feathered pickpocket. Crowds cheer. Courtiers pretend this is all deeply dignified. At Virginia Water, Perroquet dives from minnows with military precision. George claps like a delighted child. My Admiral of the Lake. Honestly, the bird earned the title. And finally, hush, the softest moment of all. Sanssouci, 1780s. Frederick the Great, philosophicking, lies in his final hours. His Italian greyhounds, Altmanay, Biche, Thisbe, curl against him, long limbs folded like delicate question marks. They have their own heated rooms, their own guards, their own porcelains, and yet they stay here, warming their king as his breath slows. His will, bury me with my dogs. They do. Greyhounds and king rest side by side on a terrace kissed by vines. Pilgrims touch the stones, not out of duty, but out of tenderness. Now the candles sputter into nothing. The palaces dissolve into faint silhouettes, drawn in moonlight. Somewhere, a spaniel dreams of Whitehall puddles. Somewhere, a pug snuffles through imagined Viennese straw. Somewhere, a ghost greyhound sprints across a Prussian lawn, weightless and eternal. They were never just pets. They were the only courtiers who told no lies, sought no favor, plotted no schemes. Their paw prints may fade from marble, but their devotion echoes like a heartbeat through centuries. So, rest now. Let the night settle around you, warm as a collie's flank, soft as a Bichon's ear. Tomorrow the world will demand crowns and titles again. But tonight, your kingdom is simply the quiet curve of your pillow, guarded by spirits who love their monarchs deeper than any crown ever did. Sleep in the hush of history's truest, most loyal hearts. Let the twilight soften into something silken and slow, the kind that drapes over Buckingham's, spires, and Madrid's hidden gardens like a shared secret. We're easing into the present now, where palace walls hum with the quiet click of smartphone cameras and the rustle of cashmere throws. No more dusty portraits or whispered decrees, just the warm glow of a phone screen casting shadows on a corgi's, or the soft patter of paws on polished parquet. The thrones are the same, but the companions, they've traded jeweled collars for monogrammed leashes, and their legacies scroll endlessly online, one heart emoji at a time. Begin at Windsor where the late afternoon sun filters through leaded glass like honey through a sieve. Queen Elizabeth II. Settles into her favorite armchair, a tartan blanket across her knees, an Susan the first of her Pembroke Welsh corgis, a birthday gift. In 1940, 4 nestles closer, her tricolour coat the exact shade of autumn bracken. Over 7 decades, more than 30 corgis would claim her heart, each one a descendant of Susan, bred in the castle kennels with names like Dookie Spark and Muick. They trailed her through state banquets, hidden under formal skirts during audiences, their yips muffled by velvet drapes, palace staff grooms in tweed, footmen with silver brushes tended to them like minor royals, daily walks in the home park, organic salmon treats from Fortnum and Mason, and custom beds lined with the softest Harris tweed. One corgi, Holly even starred in royal Christmas cards, her tongue lolling mid-leap as the Queen laughed, sound rarer than state jewels. When the last ones, Muick, and Sandy were gifted to Prince Andrew after her passing in 2022, the kennels fell silent, but the corgi's paw prints lingered in the corridors, a trail of loyalty etched in history's quiet margins. Drift southward on a whisper of Mediterranean breeze. 2. Zarzuela Palace outside Madrid, where jasmine climbs the stucco walls like a lover's vine. King Philip VI. And Queen Letitia pause in the courtyard after a morning of audiences, the king loosening his tie while Letitia kneels to scratch behind the ears of Asterisk. Miguelito. Their sleek Labrador, whose glossy black coat catches the light like polished obsidian. The Spanish royals keep a pack of Barbers and Spaniels, mostly unnamed in public, to shield them from the glare, but glimpses slip through. A golden retriever bounding across Mallorcan lawns in summer snapshots, or a wiry terrier curled at Letitia's feet during family teas, its chin resting on her No Instagram frenzy here, just tender posts on the royal sit-a-paw in the frame during a Palma de Mallorca walk, or a blurred tail wagging in the background of a garden fete. The dogs join quiet evenings in the library, heads on velvet autumn, while Philippe reads aloud from Cervantes and Letitia sketches wildflowers. They're not symbols of pomp, but punctuation to the day. A nudge when tensions rise before a diplomatic call. A sloppy kiss after a ribbon. In a court where protocol is poetry, these companions are the unscripted verses, proving that even crowns need something to lean on when the world weighs heavy. Let the scene melt into Nordic mist. Amalienborg Palace, in Copenhagen, where harbor lights dance on the water like fireflies at dusk. Crown Prince Frederick now King Frederick X, since his mother's abdication in 2020, 4 steps onto the balcony for his birthday wave. The crowd's cheers a gentle roar below. But today, it's not just the family who steals the show. Grace. The border collie with eyes like polished amber trots out unannounced, her fluffy tail sweeping the air like a feathered banner. She's one of 2 Grace and her daughter Coco puppies from 2021, heirs to the late Ziggy. A wedding gift who guarded the nursery for 12 years. Vega. A fond memory, perhaps, from an earlier litter. But these collies are the heart of Fredensborg summers, herding the royal children through orchards, splashing in the Rieson shallows, their barks echoing like laughter in the pines. Queen Mary captures them on her phone during autumn rambles. Grace, nosing through copper leaves, Coco mid-pounce on a fallen apple posts that rack up likes from Helsinki to Hope. No red carpets for them, just the soft earth of family trails, where a king can kneel in the mud to untangle a leash, and remember, power is fleeting, but a dog's gaze holds steady. Now a fjord-scented sigh carries us to Norway's rolling hills. Where Princess Mirtha Louise, reigns in her breath before a state dinner, the weight of tiaras and titles lifting as she swings into the saddle. Her horse Karsel, a dappled grey with a mane like spun moonlight, stands patient in the stable at her Lamadalen home, nostrils flaring at the scent of pine and her rider's familiar perfume. Mirtha, once a national showjumper, who claimed bronzes in Nordic championships, credits these creatures with her calm. Karsal's steady gait through autumn fog, the rhythm of hooves on leaf-strewn paths that quiets the clamor of clairvoyant claims and tabloid whispers. Her daughters Maud, Leia, Emmy each have their ponies. Wendy the family Shetland, a fluffy sentinel in the paddock, teaching them to braid manes with ribbons and whisper secrets to twitching ears. One evening, after a day of spiritual seminars, Mirtha grooms Karsel by lantern-light currycomb. Gliding like a meditation, the horses sigh her only applause. Horses here aren't relics of hunts, they're therapists in tech, bridges to a wilder self, where a princess can gallop free from the crown's quiet cage. Softer now, to Njordin Palace in The Hague, where rain patters on greenhouse glass like forgotten applause. King Willem Alexander. Slips away from briefings to his private study, where a wall of aquariums, Humza, symphony of bubbles and hidden currents. Rare discus fish, the kings of the tank, glide in turquoise schools, symphosoden, varieties from Amazonian strains, their bodies iridescent saucers of cobalt and flame, fins veiling secrets like silk. He's tended them since student days, a hobby born of dives in the North Sea. Now a ritual of precision pH balanced to 6.5, water warmed to 30 degrees, neon tetras darting like courtiers in attendance. Queen Maxima teases him over tea. Asterisk, your silent senate. Asterisk, she calls them. But she lingers too, tracing fingers on the glass as a scarlet severum flares its gill like a fan. No public unveilings, just private peace. William Alexander Sketchian tank layouts late at night. The fish's slow orbits a counterpoint to the whirl of state visits. In a life of spotlights, this underwater realm is his uncharted self-contained a kingdom where the ruler serves the ruled. Upward to Stockholm's archipelago, where gulls wheel over granite shores. The Swedish royal family scatters across Sollidens meadows in high summer. Crown Princess Victoria, leading her children Estelle and Oscar by the hand toward the pony paddock. Gotland ponies, sturdy natives with shaggy manes, like storm clouds, nuzzle sugar lumps from tiny palms. Oscar perches atop one, his laughter bubbling like the nearby Baltic. Rabbits hop free in the walled garden, Gotland Kaniner, silver-gray ghosts descended from ancient farm stock, their ears twitching at the rustle of linen skirts. Princess Madeline's little ones chase them through lavender beds, while Carl Philip sketches the scene, charcoal smudging his fingers. These aren't show ponies or prize buns. They're threads in the family weave ponies for barefoot rides at dawn. Rabbits burrowing soft lessons in patience. Queen Sylvia started it all, importing heritage breeds to teach ecology, and now the grandchildren name them Fluff, the Lop, Storm, the Fall. Evenings end with picnics, a rabbit nibbling carrot tops from Estelle's knee, the ponies grazing silhouettes against the solstice sun. Here, royalty is rabbit-soft, pony gentila, menagerie of mischief that roots the crown in Earth's quiet pulse. Let the wind turn eastward, carrying scents of oud and oases. In Doha's Falcon Souk, shadows lengthen over leather hoods and silver bells as Emir Tamim bin Hamad Al-Thani visits the hospital, a peregrine on his gloved wristets, hood embroidered with the family crest. Falcons are Qatars, living heirlooms, Saker and Lanner, priced from 30,000 rials to $1 million, trained in desert mews with telemetry trackers and GPS. One royal bird, a champion from the Marmi festival, perches in the Emir's majlis, its gaze sharp as a diplomat's, while handlers murmur praises in Bedouin. Verse: subsidized care at Souk Waqif's Clini X-rays for fractured wings, feathered trims under surgical lamps ensures. They soar eternal, symbols of valor flown from private jets with their own passports. Tamim's hunts are Pahutri in motion. Dawn patrols over the empty quarter. The falcons stoop a streak of silk against dunes, returning to perch on a falconer's arm heavy with quarry. No Kachis, Erigist, vast Ivieris, where the wind whispers through mesh, and the birds dream of endless skies. Finally, a lantern-lit hush over Tokyo's Imperial Palace, where cherry petals drift like idle thoughts. Empress Masako, wanders the pebble paths of the East Gardens, her silk hem brushing moss, drawn to the aviary where Ugisu, Japanese nightingales strill from bamboo perches. Their songs, a fragile counterpoint to the city's hum. Songbirds have graced these walls since Hyundai's whitus and bush warblers in filigreed cages, fed millet by attendants in quiet reverence. But it's the turtle that anchors her. Afternoons came a steady ryerkig no larger than a teacup, its shell etched with centuries-old patience, gliding through a koi pond's shallows. Masako scatters water lettuce by hand, watching as the creature surfaces, ancient eyes unblinking, a Zen emissary from Okinawa's coral reefs. no fanfare, just the ripple of pond water, the turtle's slow blink, a meditation on time. Emperor Naruhito joins her sometimes, reciting haiku to the birds, their replies woven into the dusk. In a court of porcelain fragility, these companions are ballast. The turtle's unhurried arc, a reminder that grace needs no haste. The bird's melody, a balm for the soul's hidden strains. Let the continents curl inward now, like a cat settling for sleep. A corgi dreams in Windsor tweed, a collie bounds through Danish dew, a falcon wheels over Qatari sands, a turtle basks in Tokyo twilight. They're not just pets anymore. They're lifelines, filters for the glare, soft landings after the day's formal flights. Monarchs scroll their feeds at midnight, pausing on a paw print meme, and smile. The world may demand perfection, but a yawn from the foot of the bed forgives it all. Breathe deep. The palace lights dim one by one. Screens glow faint as fireflies. Tonight, your pillow is a throne. Your dreams a menagerie. Without borders, corgis curling close, turtles tracing slow circles in moonlit pools. The parade softens to a sigh, eternal as a tail wag in the dark. Sleep, wrapped in the warmth of whiskers and wings, where every heartbeat is a quiet coronation. Let the last palace lamp sink to a member glow, the corridors folding into themselves like the petals of a night blooming Sirius. Somewhere a clock strikes once, a single note that dissolves into silence. We are no longer in grand halls, but in the small, unrecorded rooms, where crowns are set on side tables, and the only witness is a creature whose eyes reflect candlelight like polished jet. Here, the air is thick with the scent of warmed fur, the faint crackle of a dying fire, and the soft, steady breathing of two hearts, one human, one not learning the same lullaby. Begin in Balmoral, 1992, the year the Queen privately called her Annus Horribile. Windsor Castle is still smoldering in memory. Charles and Diana's marriage crumbling in tabloid print, and the weight of 7 decades presses against Elizabeth's shoulders like a cloak of lead. She slips from the state apartments into the small sitting room off her bedroom, tartan carpet muffling her steps. Willow ***. A corgi with one ear perpetually flopped, like a misplaced comma, pads after her. The Queen sinks into an armchair older than the Commonwealth, and Willow leaps less gracefully than in her youth into the royal lap. No footman, no equerries, just the low tick of a mantel clock and the corgi sigh, as she circles twice and settles, head heavy on the Queen's wrist. Outside, Highland wind rattles the windows. Inside, Willow's heartbeat is a metronome against the Queen's pulse. Elizabeth's fingers trace the dog's velvet ears, and for the first time all day, her shoulders drop. She whispers not to aids, not to God, but to Willow. We shall manage, shan't we? ***. The corgi's tail thumps once. A quiet yes. Years later, when the Queen records her Christmas broadcast, Willow is curled beneath the desk, unseen but felt, a small anchor in a world tilting on its axis. Let the scene dissolve into asterisk. Windsor, 1837. Candle stubs guttering in silver sconces. Queen Victoria barely 18, sits on the edge of her bed in a nightgown trimmed with lace she still thinks childish. Her King Charles Spaniel lies beside her, ribs rising and falling like tiny bellows. The dog is dying, kidneys failing. Breath shallow and victorious tears fall onto his silky head. She has buried prime ministers, survived assassination attempts, but this is the grief that cracks her open. She craters Daishi's face, whispering the nonsense words she invented for him. Daishi, my darling. Until his eyes close. The next morning, she orders a coffin of mahogany lined with white satin, a marble slab engraved Eardley Stash, the faithful companion of Queen Victoria and buries him beneath a yew tree in the Adelaide cottage garden. 4 weeks she visits the grave at dawn, gloveless, pressing her palm to the cold stone as if warmth might still seep through. Albert finds her there one morning and says nothing, only wraps her in his coat. The spaniel's absence carves a space no crown can fill. Drift northward to *** Potsdam, 1786, moonlight silvering the terraces of Sansu. Asterisk. Asterisk Frederick the Great. Asterisk asterisk lies on a narrow camp bed, his body a map of old wounds and older regrets. Around him, his asterisk. Asterisk Italian greyhounds. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Asterisk Alcmen, Biche, Thisbe, and the newest Amalthea. Asterisk asterisk form a living quilt. Their slender bodies are warm against his legs. Their breath, a chorus of sighs. The king's hand, once steady enough to sign treaties that redrew Europe, now trembles as it strokes Biche's narrow skull. He murmurs in French, the language of his youth. Miss Evans knows partons bien. De Asteres the dogs do not understand the words, only the tremor in his voice. When he dies at dawn, the greyhounds refuse to leave the bed. Soldiers carry the body king and hounds, entwined to the vineyard terrace. The grave is dug shallow, so the dogs can be buried with him. Their collars of blue ribbons still tied. 2 centuries later, archaeologists find the skeletons. Frederick's hand bones resting on a greyhound's skull, as if even in death he could not let go. Now, a softer light. St. Petersburg, 1796, the Winter Palace, hushed under fresh snow. Asterisk asterisk Catherine the Great. Asterisk asterisk sits by a porcelain stove, her empire sprawling from the Baltic to the Black Sea, yet her world narrows to the asterisk asterisk. Greyhound asterisk asterisk curled at her feet. Semira, levrete d'Italie her coat, the color of moonlit ash, wears a collar of pearls that once belonged to a Polish princess. Catherine's fingers still steady at 7 to trace, the dog's spine as she dictates letters to Potemkin, but her voice falters when Zemira sighs. The Empress has outlived lovers, children, rivals, but the thought of outliving this dog is a knife she cannot name. When Zemira dies in her sleep, Catherine orders a portrait by Lampy, the greyhound reclining on a crimson cushion, eyes half closed in eternal dream. She writes a poem in French, 8 lines of aching simplicity, and seals it in a locket hung above the dog's grave in the Tauride Palace gardens. Courtiers whisper that the Empress wept harder for Zemira than for her husband. They are not wrong. Let the years fold like silk. To asterisk, asterisk Kensington Palace, 1980s asterisk asterisk, where carpet is thick, and children's laughter echoes off gilded cornices. Asterisk, asterisk Prince William. Asterisk, asterisk age 4. Tuddles after a asterisk asterisk Shetland pony asterisk named asterisk asterisk Trigger asterisk asterisk, his small hands buried in mane, the color of ginger biscuits. Asterisk asterisk Prince Harry. Asterisk asterisk follows, barefoot, shrieking with delight as Trigger nips at his pajama bottoms. Their mother, Diana, watches from the window, heart swelling at the sight of her boys learning balance on something smaller than themselves. Years later, when the world knows them only as Princes William will remember. Trigger's patient nuzzle after a scraped knee Harry the way the pony stood still while he buried his face in warm neck and cried over a broken toy. When Trigger dies at 28, the brothers, now men in uniforms, stand together at the grave in the Sandringham paddock, tossing sugar lumps into the earth like coins for Karen. Diana's voice, soft in memory. Asterisk he carried you before the world did. Asterisk shift to asterisk. Asterisk Friedensborg 2024. Asterisk asterisk. The night of King Frederick X's succession gala. The ballroom glittered. But now the palace is quiet. Chandeliers dimmed to embers. Asterisk. Asterisk Prince Christian. Asterisk asterisk. Newly invested as Crown Prince, slips into the kennels with a flashlight. Asterisk, asterisk, Coco, asterisk, asterisk. The border collie meets him at the gate, tail a blur. Christian kneels, burying his face in her ruff, the weight of a nation's future pressing against his collarbone. Coco licks the salt from his cheek tears. He will never admit to end. He whispers, asterisk, you're the only one who doesn't expect a speech. Asterisk. They sit on the straw until the moon climbs high, the prince's fingers tracing the dog's ears, learning the shape of duty and the curve of something that asks nothing but love. Finally, asterisk, asterisk, Oslo, present-day asterisk, asterisk, a stable lit by a single lantern, asterisk asterisk Princess Ingrid Alexandra asterisk, Heir to the Norwegian throne leans against Valkyrie. Her Fjord horse. The mare's breath, warm clouds in the frost. Ingrid's day was ribbons and handshakes. But here she is, just a girl with hay in her hair. Valkyrie lowers her head, resting her forehead against Ingrid's, a silent compact. The princess murmurs about exams, about the weight of expectation, about the way the mare's eyes hold no judgment. When Valkyrie nickers softly, Ingrid laughs a sound like bells and snow and presses a kiss between the horse's eyes. In the morning, she will ride in the Constitution Day parade. But tonight, she is only the girl who knows exactly where to scratch behind a velvet ear to make the world quiet. Let the lantern flicker out. The palaces are dark now, the crowns cold on their cushions. But in every shadowed corner, a small heart beats against a larger one. A corgi's sigh in Windsor, a greyhound's dream in Potsdam, a pony's nuzzle in Sandringham. They do not know they are royal. They only know the hand that strokes them is the same one that signs laws and waves from balconies. In the hush between heartbeats, they teach the only lesson that matters. Asterisk, you are enough, just as you are. Asterisk, close your eyes. The night is a blanket of velvet and starlight, and somewhere a warm nose nudges your palm. The parade has ended, but the comfort lingers soft as a spaniel's ear, steady as a horse's breath, eternal as the quiet space between a ruler's sigh and a creature's spur. Sleep, held in the gentlest court of all, where the only decree is love, and the only crown is the curve of a dreaming tail across your heart. As we drift into the final stretch of our pet-filled promenade through the palaces of today, the atmosphere changes. The chandeliers grow dimmer, the velvet corridors quieter, and yet somehow the presence of pets becomes even louder, fluffier, and far more endearing. Modern royals may live in an age of diplomacy, digital headlines, but behind the grand facades, their lives still revolve around the soft padding of paws, the rustle of fur, and the sweet chaos that only beloved pets can bring. In the heart of the monarchy, King Charles and Queen Camilla remain the undisputed champions of the royal rescue movement. Their faithful Jack Russell's Beth and Bluebell were adopted from Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, and they've become celebrities in their own right. They pop up in Christmas cards, make dignified cameos in palace photo shoots, and sometimes manage to steal the show by simply looking adorable during official engagements. The newest poop, Molly, only adds to the whirlwind of wagging tails circling around Camilla, who is famously unable to go anywhere without a four-legged friend nearby. Every National Dog Day, Bluebell gets her own shout-out from Clarence House, as if she were a royal diplomat receiving a national award. And in true quirky royal fashion, Charles introduced Snuff, Alagotto, Romagnolo, into the palace family not just because they're cute and curly, but because it's the same breed Prince Philip kept while overseeing his private truffle orchard. Only in royal life could one casually say, "Yes, the king's dog hunts gourmet truffles on ancestral lands." Further down the line, in the warm, bustling world of William and Kate, the heartbeat of family life is shaped by laughter, children's footsteps, and the cheerful energy of Orla, their black cocker spaniel. Gifted Bacata's brother, Orla has grown into more than just a dug. She is a guardian of childhood adventures, appearing in Charlotte's birthday photos with perfect composure, as though she knows her presence is part of royal tradition. When news of new puppies recently filtered through the royal grapevine, fans around the world celebrated like it was the arrival of royal babies themselves. That's the magic of modern monarchies. It's the wag of a tail that signals joy more loudly than an official announcement. Across the ocean, in Montecito, Harry and Meghan embrace a different kind of royal routine. Sunlit mornings, California breezes, and three dogs, Guy, Pula, and Mia, who seem to run the household with the authority of tiny governors. They've openly described them as emotional support dogs, the unofficial wellness team of the Sussex home. They teach Archie and Lilibet how to play, how to giggle, how to chase squirrels. Though the squirrels never signed up for royal training sessions, these dogs aren't palace pets, they're family members, chaos agents, and furry therapists, all in one perfectly mismatched pack. Meanwhile, in a quieter corner of the extended royal family, Prince Edward's household adds a surprising twist. A pet tortoise named Marmite, a slow-moving monarch in his own right. His leisurely strolls through the gardens of Bagshot Park suggest that not every royal companion has first somewhere shells and move at a speed that says, "I'll get there when I get there." Princess Michael of Kent, on the other hand, is the reigning queen of feline affection, surrounding herself with Burmese and Siamese cats who pose in portraits like VV ruled empires for centuries. And through it all, certain traditions never fade. Royal pets still sleep on plush cushions softer than clouds, nibble on meals that might outshine the palace banquets, and find themselves immortalized in paintings, books, and staged royal photographs worthy of museum galleries. From Queen Elizabeth's legendary Corgi dynasty beginning with Susan in 1944 and continuing with Muick and Sandy, to the countless stories of dogs comforting monarchs during grief, nudging royal babies into laughter, or scampering into diplomatic meetings with no sense of protocol. These animals have shaped history in the most unexpected ways, but the true evolution of royal pet culture lies in its purpose. Today's royal families aren't just caretakers of beloved animals, they are passionate advocates for the voiceless. They champion rescue shelters, campaign for animal welfare, and use their influence to spotlight mental health benefits of living with pets, whether it's Charles helping conservation efforts, Camilla supporting rescue homes, or Meghan highlighting the healing bond between people and the animals. Each royal figure tries to be height of the ceremonies and crowns to leave the world kinder and more compassionate than they found it. And so, as we take this final turn through the palace shadows, the lights glowing faintly against the old stone walls, the royal pets settle in for the night. The corgis curl into their beds with practiced dignity. Orla watches over the sleeping children. The Sussex dogs tumble into a warm California pile. Marmite, the tortoise, tucks in for a peaceful, unhurried dream. And somewhere in a quiet corner, a royal cat stretches with a kind of elegance only a cat can possess. These animals, these loyal, mischievous, heart-stealing companions are the silent historians of royal life. They witness the private moments, soothe the unseen wounds, and add warmth to the coldest chambers of power. Their tails mark time, their purrs soften history, their presence fills the castle halls with a love that outlives titles, crowns, and even monarchs. So tonight, as the great doors close and the moonlight slips across marble floors, let this be the final lullaby. A gentle good night from the palace pets, the fluffiest, sweetest, sleepest storytellers in the world. Guardians, not of kingdoms, but of hearts.